And we're preparing to live stream. This is cool. I've never done this before. So, you know, you learn something new every day. At least you should.
Where do you want your face to be when you go live? Because
I'm gonna stand up in a second rather than squatting down here. And we are now live to live stream. This is cool. I've never done this before. So, you know, you learn something new every day. At least you should.
Where do you want your face to be when you go live? Because
I'm gonna stand up in a second rather than squatting down here. And we are now live to live stream. This is cool. I've never done this before, so you know, you learn something new every day. At least you should. Where do you want your face to be when you go live? I'm gonna stand up in a second rather than squatting down here. And we are now live to live stream. I've never done this before.
Getting funny sound on my end?
Hang on one sec. Can you hear me, Arlette?
I can now.
Okay, I was hearing a lot of reverb.
Me too.
And I don't know what that's about. So
what was that coming out of?
Pardon me?
I see you and hear you fine now. When you were down there on the floor, it was reverb and weird.
Okay, I don't know what that is. So let's just go and we'll just assume that the Chi is always working things out behind the scenes, whether we know it or not. And sound good?
Are we streaming live?
I think we are. There's a disconnect between what I'm saying and what I'm seeing and what I hear you say and what I see you do. So again, I'm just going to trust that this is all good and that we're good. So.
Okay. Did you hit the record button?
I did. You know, YouTube world, you can tell we're really new at this, right? And I promise I don't have COVID. There's about 4 or 5 days of the year when I have allergies, and I guess today's the day. So,
and I'm in the cold, and I promise that these tissues are not because of sickness. It's because the cold is making my nose run.
That's true. That's true.
It's so all about
here we are. And I'm Jessica Lewis, and this is my good friend
Arlette Tversky.
Arlette Tversky. And we actually met because our mutual friend, Marcus, who's actually Arlette's teacher, had the foresight to gather up the group of Tai Chi for Veterans instructors in the greater Philadelphia area, of which Arlette and I are members, and form sort of a confederation. And you know what? I'm really honored and happy to say that Arlette and I are friends now. I think even if it weren't for Tai Chi for Veterans, we'd still be friends. What do you think, Arlette?
I think we got to be friends because of Tai Chi for Veterans, and I'm very glad of it. We just seem to have all sorts of things in common.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and that's sort of the theme for our Chi-cast today, is that you and I have been talking over the course of the last 6 weeks or so since we've been sojourning.
Beautiful segue, Jessica. Beautiful.
About how there are so many different kinds of Tai Chi practices in the world, but in reality, you don't even have to drill down very far before you start to see where they all overlap, like a beautiful bowl of spaghetti strands intertwined, and you can't see where one begins and one ends.
Right. And our movements are also very much like that in many, many cases, which we're hoping to show you today.
Yeah. In fact, some of them have names that are almost the same, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And we also want the world to know that probably in the Western Hemisphere, maybe if you were to go to the Eastern Hemisphere, you're going to find more. But in the Western Hemisphere, you'll probably be able to find at least 30 different styles of Tai Chi if you were to go looking for a class. but they're all based on a lot of the same principles. If you were to translate the words Tai Chi, or what many people mean unconsciously when they say Tai Chi is usually Tai Chi Chuan, into English, the translation you will most often find is Supreme Ultimate Fist. Is that correct, Arlette?
Yes, Supreme Ultimate Fist.
Yes.
And I didn't know, but when people do this in the beginning of Tai Chi practice, it is a form of honoring the teachers that brought you to this place.
That's,
I learned that yesterday from someone's flow show.
yeah. And that, you know what, this is just one more example of how we all have more in common than not in common. I spent many years studying Tung Sudo karate from my treasured master, Mark Baker, who's in the Philadelphia Martial Arts Hall of Fame, which is cool. And the way you end every class was, you know, and the way you greeted each other was by shaking the hand and bowing, you know. So it's very, very similar to the way.
And there's a lot of different ways that these people were discussing yesterday. Some were doing this, and some are doing a little sort of a yoga thing, and I think the point is, which we say often in our Tai Chi Fit practice, it doesn't matter. It
Right.
just doesn't matter. It's all very much the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And here's another thing we all have in common in the Tai Chi world is that there is such validity to the idea of showing up to anything as an empty vessel so that you are ready to learn. Gosh, Sam and I talked about in our last GCast together how the most important thing probably any teacher can do, but especially in the world of Tai Chi, is to show the student that there's something to be learned. Because if the student doesn't realize that there's something they still need to learn, they will constantly be taking in new information and just comparing it to what's already in the filing cabinet up here. They're not learning anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're honoring your teacher, your master, the ones that went before you, it's as if you're saying, no matter how advanced I am, I'm always ready to show up as a brand new student and take in more. And wouldn't you say we have all that in common too, Arlette?
Absolutely. Just learning that we have a lot to learn, knowing that, you know, we have lots and lots to learn from each other. I had never heard of T'ai Chi Chih until I came to a Sunday meeting of our Philly team of Tai Chi for veterans. And I shouldn't call it the Philly team because Jessica's from Delaware, and
Delaware's so small. It's part of the greater Philadelphia area. Let's call it spade a spade.
we spent a long time trying to figure out what to name ourselves. I don't know if we've come across the answer yet. Delaware Valley Tai Chi, I think we came up with. Anyway, you were talking about empty vessel, and you reminded me that even in our movements, it's not possible to move unless part of you is empty. You cannot walk. You literally cannot walk unless you empty the weight out of something. So, for instance, I can step on this foot, but I can't move the other one. Cannot move the other one unless I get the weight off it to get it off the ground. Once I've released that leg and empty vessel, then I can pick it up and put it somewhere.
That's true.
It expresses itself in the body as well, that idea.
That's true. Yeah. And that's one of the principles of movement that we were going to go over today that our practices have incredibly in common.
How I did that for you? See that?
Yeah. There's still a huge delay between what I hear and see you do.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's going to be a real challenge for me to just know that all is well and it's going well. But Yeah. So I'm glad you said all that. And since we already talked about the English translation from the phrase Tai Chi or Tai Chi Chuan, I will say the English translation of the name Tai Chi Chih means knowledge of the supreme ultimate. So as you can tell just by the English names of these practices, they both have incredibly almost spiritual, but deeply meditative aspects to them. Some Tai Chi practices have martial applications. I'd say more than most have martial applications. Tai Chi Chih does not, but that doesn't mean that one practice is better than the other. As Arlette and I always talk about how people are attracted to the practice that they're attracted to, and there's nothing wrong or right about what they're attracted to, but we both really want is to bring as many people to Tai Chi as we possibly can, right? For health purposes, right, Arlette?
Just because we ourselves are getting so much out of it, and we're also in this wonderful position of being able to start giving it to other people. And I would add that I wouldn't want people to be scared away by the phrase supreme ultimate, because people tend to think that what is this, some kind of a religion? You know, some people are more comfortable and less comfortable with the different aspects of religion, or they think that this means that this is going to get in the way of their own beliefs, and it's not like that. It's more of a learning to add to who you already are, things that you, it's adding tools to your toolbox of how to get through life, really. It's finding ways to be calm, finding ways to breathe, finding ways to move through your life that are not anxiety provoking, and actually also without trying really hard. It just kind of happens through just experiencing these gentle practices that we're trying to offer people.
Those are all such incredibly important points, Arlette. I'm glad you brought them up, because every now and again somebody will say, gosh, I'm a Christian, or I'm I don't know, I'm something or other. I can't practice Tai Chi, right? That's against my religion. And I think, oh my gosh, no, for Pete's sake. Number one, all religions have at their core deep spirituality, right? Number two, if you drill down not even all that far into all religions, you start to see where they also very much overlap, you know. Mm-hmm. Number three, I know a lot of Tai Chi Chih instructors in particular. I don't know a lot of other Tai Chi instructors because I'm accredited to teach Tai Chi Chih, so that's the group I tend to hang with. But I know a lot of Tai Chi Chih instructors that are completely committed to their religious practices. I can think of maybe 20 Catholic nuns right off the top of my head that are also accredited Tai Chi Chih instructors, for instance. And what all these people that I've met over the years say to me about what's going on in their life after having added Tai Chi Chih into it is it just puts all the wonderful things that were already there on steroids. It's almost like it explodes your ability to be compassionate towards yourself and to others. It explodes your capacity for being able to take in more of the beautiful stuff in life and be able to sort of put on a pair of rose-colored glasses and look at things optimistically as if they will always work out, even if you can't, see that coming immediately. And so it basically just changes your outlook. Tai Chi in general enhances your well-being so dramatically, mostly because it changes your outlook on things. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It takes you, it also takes you out of what we sometimes call the monkey mind. This just, constantly ruminating about, what am I anxious about? What do I have to do next? Corona. You just physically let it go and try to bring some goodness and peacefulness and health back into yourself, and so that you have what to go forth into the world with.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the commonalities, you know, if you go down into all religions, there's going to be something in common. There's going to be spirituality. There's going to be, you know, a way of finding peace, finding something you can hold on to. And what Jessica and I wanted to really talk about today is the commonalities between Tai Chi Chih and Tai Chi Chuan, or in particular Taijifit, which is the kind of Tai Chi that I am learning how to teach.
So that's a beautiful segue, Arlette. Without further ado, why don't we just show some of the movements, because I think a lot more information about all this is going to come out organically
Sure.
while we're showing the movements. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely. Can you show me what show me a typical movement in Tai Chi Chih?
Yeah, I can. So let's see. I think we talked, at first we thought we would do working the pulley, and then compare and contrast that.
Could you walk me through it? I'm going to try to do it with you.
Absolutely. That's great. I was really hoping you would. Okay. So, so the first thing I'm doing basically is just sort of getting into the soles of my feet.
You know what? I'm going to watch you once, and then I'm going to do it with you.
That's great. That's great. And actually, one of the only real obvious distinctions between Tai Chi Chih and Taijifit is there are moments in Tai Chi Chih when it appears as if someone is completely motionless. And that may seem to be a moment in which the practitioner is doing nothing at all. But let me tell you, there's a lot going on when you are just standing still, because what's happening is you are feeling your feet touching the ground. You're being extraordinarily mindful. We talk about mindfulness all the time now. It's almost becoming like McDonald's, you know. But this is a real mindful moment here, folks. You are feeling your feet touching the ground. How often in life do you do that? The other thing is, in Tai Chi Chih, when you're moving, you're actually activating and circulating all the energy that's normally in your body. We call it Chi, really a lot. And so when you come back to stillness and you're feeling your feet touching the ground, all that energy actually settles down in the marrow of your bones, which is the cradle of your immune system. So not only does it improve your immunity, but also improves bone density dramatically. So we begin every movement in this sort of resting position. But believe me, a lot is going on. So here I am feeling my feet touching the ground. And I'm going to mirror for folks in YouTube land. So if I raise this hand, y'all are going to use your left hand. If I raise this hand, you're going to use your right. So if I were going to do work in the pulley, I would first sink down a little bit more and then shift into my right leg completely. Now my right leg is totally full and my left leg is so empty, I can just extend it without exerting any effort whatsoever. And since my left leg is out, I'm going to raise my left hand. And the other hand is going to face the sky. And then to begin moving, I simply flow all the energy that's sitting in this right leg into my left, and my left hand will go forward too, and my right hand will go behind. So here's what it looks like. And then I flow back. And then I flow forward. And then I flow back. So in Tai Chi Chih speak, this forward and back motion that we're doing is indicative of a couple of principles. The first one is what we like to call yinning and yanning. But you could also just look at it as waves washing up on a beach and then flowing back into the depths of the water and picking up more sand and washing up on the beach and moving back. And I see Arlette doing it with me, although there's a delay, so it's a little bit hard for me to tell. I'm going to just keep going until I see her moving along with me. Yeah. And my arms are kind of coming along for the ride, because what's really happening is I'm flowing forward from this big ball of energy in the center of my body called the Dantian, which is another thing we have in common with Taijifit and all Tai Chi practices, actually. So as it flows forward, I'm sorry, go ahead, Arlette.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the body coming along for the ride, because I was thinking about it in terms of one of our other movements, and I didn't even connect it, you know, with this type of movement, and of course that's what's happening. Yes.
Yeah. So the Dantian's flowing forward and expanding.
And then I need to get back so other people can see me. So
no, we're seeing you. It looked good. I'm just going to do one more, and then I'm going to conclude with no effort at all. I'm basically just slowing down until all the body parts catch up with each other, and then we all sink down. And I'm simply feeling my feet touching the ground for a moment or so, and then I can totally relax, or I can just stay down here and then begin another movement. It's up to the practitioner.
That movement, that moment of quiet there is it's very powerful. It's I do feel like things are still continuing to settle after I've come off of the movement. I just feel the effects of it mostly. It's kind of like you're stirring up a soup of some kind, and after you've stopped, it's still swirling.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
that's a great analogy. And once you stir it, you know, the flavors start to marry. So it's important to stir it and then let it settle.
Yeah. So we have there's a very similar movement in Taijifit, and it's called Repulse the Monkey.
Show me.
And we get into the movement a little bit differently, but once it starts going, you can see how similar it is. I think you'll notice that maybe my hands are maybe making a wider arc than yours are.
Okay.
My hands are extending a little bit further out, whereas yours are staying fairly close to your body. And you'll see. I'm going to do it for you.
Go for it.
As I do it, I'll be able to describe it a little better.
Okay.
Move the computer a bit. All right. So usually we get into this one by first breathing, and let the hands float gently up. And then I'm going to just kind of flop them over a little bit. So one's on top of the other, and I don't care which one, well, the bottom one actually, is just going to drop. And then it's going to come back. And as it comes back, it's going to sort of push forward, and the other one drops.
Oh, interesting.
Well, my feet aren't moving like yours were in this one. I'm not going anywhere with it right now. But it does have that back and forth quality. And that kind of expanding out and then coming back to where you were. And if I did want to move with it, actually, it would look something like this. I would have to empty a leg. I'd have to empty the weight off of this one. I could step back and shift my weight and step back again and step back again. So you can move with it. And there is weight shifting. There's that kind of a motion that I know you have said is not actually like swimming. And yet to some people, maybe it has a bit of that feel to it. Sometimes we joke that it's like pushing a pie into the oven. Whoosh.
That's so funny that you say that, because when I'm teaching somebody that's completely new, I often tell them, it's almost like you have a pie in your hand. It's a really gentle, sweet pie, and you're now going to push it towards someone's face. And then you turn around and you carry it back very level so you don't drop it. So then you push the other pie towards their face.
Mhm.
It's like the exact opposite of that old James Cagney movie where he smushes the grapefruit right into his girlfriend's face.
I think Marcus likes to say you like open the window and steal the pie, or open the window and steal the pie. I don't know. Depends what you're in the mood for that day. Oh, that was fun.
Well, you know what? There, like I said, like we have been saying, there's a huge delay between, and maybe it's because you're in Israel and I'm in Delaware, but a huge delay between what I hear you say and what I'm saying, and I'm following along. But I feel the exact same sensations inside my body when I was doing that with you just now, probably quite badly because I don't know the move yet.
No, and I don't know if I did it long enough, for you to get the feel of it, that, enough repetitions and you really start to just feel that it has a flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while you're doing it,
Yeah.
and some of the other things that you were thinking about before you got here just aren't there anymore. You're busy.
It's true. It's true. And that one of the ways that the good old monkey mind just empties out is because you're concentrating on, okay, where do my hands go? Where do my hands go? Where do my hands go? And there's no room in that silly old monkey mind. It's like you gave him a banana for the first time all day and he finally quieted down,
Yeah.
And in Tai Chi Chih, even when you're in the soles of your feet, the monkey mind gets very quiet. All I'm thinking about is feeling my feet touching the ground. All this is very mindful.
And yet it's easy enough that there's not a whole lot of worry about where do my hands go? Where do my hands go? We like to say, if I go this way and you go that way, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You just, if we're rocking, we're rocking. Okay. If you're moving your hands this way and that way, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What matters is just gently breathing and moving.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's one of the things that I want to tell everybody in YouTube land, I'm in the very beginning stages of getting my certification to teach Taijifit as well. I'll probably always teach both because I love Tai Chi Chih and I don't imagine I'll ever abandon it. But I'm very, very interested in learning the other as well, because I think it's just more tools in the toolbox. But one thing I love about Taijifit is the I don't care principle. So in Tai Chi just speak, we call all that the effort of no effort at all. And even thinking about how am I doing? Is my hand going the right way? That is way too much effort. No need for that, right? Mm-hmm. And Justin Stone, the Tai Chi Chih originator, never said this, but one of the best teachers and one of the best Tai Chi Chih teachers I've ever encountered, his name is Bill Moore, always says, and I quote it copiously, there's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Chih. There's only good and gooder. So again, it's all the same.
Exactly the same for Taijifit.
Boy, I really sound like I'm coming down with something, but I swear I'm not.
I think I'll join you in that drink. Yeah. Do we have time for another move, do you think?
Let's do it, yeah. So we were also going to do, I can't remember. I wrote it down. Oh, passing clouds. Oh,
it's a good one.
So lovely. Okay, which looks a heck of a lot you're going to see, like wave hands like clouds. So this is what passing clouds looks like in Tai Chi Chih. So we begin by sinking and shifting all the way into the left leg. And actually you let your waist turn a little bit this time. Normally when we're going forward back, the waist doesn't turn. So now that my left leg is totally full of energy, it reminds me to put my left hand up. It's like I'm high-fiving a wall over here. And then because, again, my left leg is so completely full of energy, I can actually just extend my right leg with no effort at all. It's so empty, it just sort of snakes out there. In fact, that's called the Tai Chi step, another thing we have in common. And then I begin to shift from side to side. So here's what happens. As I shift towards the right, the left hand comes along for the ride. And then as I begin to shift back to the left, here comes the right hand coming along for the ride. And this is such an easy move. And one of the things I love most about passing class is it was the first time I ever had the experience, even back before I was a teacher, of me not actually doing anything. At some point, you begin to feel as if your body is simply moving within some sort of cosmic rhythm that's already out there. We call this the Tai Chi Chih, doing the Tai Chi Chih. And yeah, look, Arlette is doing it so beautifully.
Well, thank you. But I got to tell you, the reason I can do it beautifully is because it's almost exactly the same as wave hands like clouds in Taijifit.
It is. So I tell you what, why don't I just stop and I'm going to copy you. Go ahead and show me wave hands like clouds, and I'm going to try to do it as well as you were just doing.
Well, once again, we're going to get to it a little differently. We're not going to start in the same way, but we're going to wind up in the exact same place.
Okay.
Okay. So you can start by just feeling nice and soft and relaxed in the knees and the shoulders and the hands. Take a breath. Let the hands float gently up and apart like a big hug. One hand is just gonna come underneath about where your belly button is, and the other one's gonna come on top, like you're holding a big moon. And now you can take that moon and carry it over this way. There's a delay on my side, but I see you getting there. Yeah. And once you get over to the side with your moon, hands can just pass each other like ships in the night and float on over the other way. And then your hands pass each other again, and you carry it all back the other way. And it doesn't matter which way you go. Float along with those clouds. Just carry your clouds to one side and then over to the other side.
Nice.
Well, you notice I'm not moving my feet too much right now, but there is a point where you put the weight into that one leg, and when it's nice and heavy and full, you're going to step out with an empty leg and carry your clouds across the sky.
Interesting.
And then your hands and carry your clouds across the sky the other way. And float on back.
I have no idea if I'm doing it right, but you know what? It feels pretty darn similar to what I was doing a minute ago.
Well, remember, there's no right, no wrong. There's just good and gooder.
See, I don't care. I love it.
It's a little difficult with the delay, but you know what? You're perfect. Yeah.
Well, there is such a thing as perfect. That's why we call it practice, right?
You know, you had it before I showed it to you. It's the same. Really,
perfect is overrated. I always say perfect is overrated.
Right.
Oh,
you know, I may be doing a little fancy thing here when I get to the side before I come over, you know, and you're just kind of not, but the feeling is the same.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we've gone longer than we thought we would. It's up to you, Arlette. Do you want to do perpetual motion taffy and parting the wild horse's mane, or do you want to just
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. All right, so I'll just show perpetual motion taffy. I think it's the closest correlation to a Taijifit move. It's just much smaller. That's all. So this is what it looks like. If I were mirroring, this is what it would look like. And we talked earlier about how the hands go along for the ride. And what's really happening is all the weight is flowing into my left leg and the hands came back together. And then as it's flowing into my right leg, they came back together and then separated. That's a little bit of a simplistic overview, but the energy is being pulled between my palms and my hands are on fire right now. Good Lord.
Wow.
And I normally have really bad circulation in my hands. They're almost always cold, but not during perpetual motion, Taffy. I'm just going to do one more little set. And then I'm going to let you show me parting the wild horse's mane. And then I end it just with a few moments of feeling the feet touch the floor. That's beautiful, Arlette. Look at those beautiful flowing, soft wrists and hands.
It's a lovely movement, really. And it's again, very, 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 very similar to parting the wild horse's mane. The differences I'd say that you're going to see are that my hands are going to come way apart. I'm going to extend, you know, almost to where I need to call it back. Come on, back. But the feeling is the same. And when you said, oh, like this is increasing my circulation, they're almost burning, I sometimes forget to think about that. And you can practice feeling that energy between your hands. I know you've referred to it as polarity. And when I think about it, I can feel it. When I'm doing my Tai Chi Fit practice, I don't know why, but I often forget to feel it. And when I practice with you, and I've seen some of your videos, which are available on Sculpt Your Life, it really adds to my own practice. It adds another layer that is lovely. So I'll show you part the horse's mane, okay?
Awesome.
Sorry, I need to keep adjusting so you can see my head and my feet.
I know. We're all on the learning curve here.
Oh, we have a whole routine that we are doing before we get to part the horse's mane, but eventually we get to a position where we've done this catch the move. Can be done on this side, eventually, and we play around with, okay, let's hide one hand and let's practice it this way.
Okay.
And you could try that with me. Let's float the hands up again like we've been doing.
Okay.
And open out into a big, big hug. And let one hand come under and the other hand gently on top. And then open out wide. And let's spin that moon. So your other hand's on top. And open out wide. And here's the other hand on top. Now this hand that's sitting on top, I'm going to hide it. And this hand here is going to toss that moon way out into the great beyond. It's going to toss out, and I'm going to call it back. So I'm making these circular movements with my hands, which you are doing the whole time in Tai Chi Chih with smaller movements, but they're still there. Your movements look more like this, and mine are taking the same movement and just extending it out. When I'm comfortable with that, I can bring the other hand back on top again. Squeeze my moon a little bit. One hand stays behind and the other hand tosses away. I squeeze my moon, toss it away. Throwing out what does not serve, gathering in what is useful. throwing away our worries, bringing back peace, feeling the chi between your hands, calling it back into our bodies. Beautiful, Jessica.
I have
You get
no idea if I'm doing it right. And I don't care, right? But the way in which this is exactly the same is I'm flowing from one full leg into the other. And the hands are coming along for the ride, and I can feel the polarity between the palms when they pass. And this is so much the same as perpetual motion taffy, it's not even funny. And I'll just end it the way I normally end everything, because I don't know what else to do. DDR, promise you won't be mad at me, because I don't know the moves yet. I'm such a baby learner, but whatever.
You're gonna be great. You got 3/4 of it already. Hooray for Tai Chi Chih.
Yay. Yay. Well, gosh, I can't think of anything that we thought we would talk about that we haven't talked about yet. Can you think of anything we didn't cover?
Let's see. Not really. We've really done a pretty much said whatever we did we talk about movements emanating from the Dantian?
I think we did. We talked about flowing forward from the Dantian when we were doing work in Napoleon stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we can do another Chi cast when we know more about this and we don't have this weird delay. How about that?
Okay.
Why don't we talk about how to get in touch with each other, or how anybody can get in touch with us? How about that?
Okay. Well, I'm not a famous instructor yet, but you can reach me on the Tai Chi with Veterans Facebook page.
True.
And you can subscribe to Tai Chi with Veterans on YouTube, and that's where, with any luck, you're watching us now. Yes. And we will post a link for this Chi cast so that you can find us later. Yes. So yeah, you can comment on Tai Chi with Veterans and hopefully make a comment there. And yes, if I post something there and you comment on it, I will see it. Yes.
And remember that Tai Chi for Veterans, which is different from Tai Chi with Veterans. Tai Chi with Veterans is our little confederation of greater Philadelphia teachers, but Tai Chi for Veterans is a federal program. There are literally a lot of instructors now that are just chomping at the bit, ready to go with their classes. The program has moved into a new iteration, which is pretty cool. We've recently been folded into the telehealth aspect of the VA. So at a time when all the pretty wonderful health enhancing classes inside VA medical centers has been locked down, tight as a drum. We are still flowing along just like water. You know what? Whenever water hits an obstacle, it just flows around it. So you can definitely continue learning Tai Chi online at this time. It's a very easy thing to do. If you'd like to learn more, you can definitely do that online. And the way to get in touch with me, wait, I have my company shirt on here. Let me take off my sweatshirt. It's chilly in Philadelphia today. I don't know what it's like in Israel.
It is cold in Israel too, and that's very unusual. It's been very warm all along.
Yeah. So this is my
let's see what that
Chi-shirt. Not a t-shirt, a Chi shirt. Got Chi. And on the back, you can see this is my website. It is www.sculptyourlife. But the name of the company is Sculpt Your, Y-O-U-R, Life. You can Google me and you'll find me very easily, Jessica Lewis. But when I went to get the domain, Sculpt Your Life was already taken. So I spelled it a little bit differently. SculptYourlife.com. And if you go there, you can hyperlink to all my different social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, Meetup, Facebook, IG, Twitter. I can't think of anything else, but you'll find me. So, and also if you go to my website, you can easily contact me by sending me an email or call me on the phone. So please do. Please do. I'd love to meet you all.
All right. Jessica, thank you so much for doing this with me. This was lovely. And I really enjoyed it. And let's do it again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for teaching me, Arlette. Thank you for teaching me.
And you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. And I'm going to see if I can get out of this. Exit full screen.